Hi everyone, here is my blended learning exploration. So to start off with Kuros' question about providing opportunities for exploration and informal learning and playing with technologies, I can't really give a lot of opportunities for that with my students right now, just based on the way that our reading intervention block is set up. But students do get other opportunities for this in school because they have a weekly technology special and they work on projects using technology with their homeroom teachers. The concept for my blended learning exploration lesson is to use the station rotations model so that students can start to think about the impact of erosion on our community, which is Cape Cod. I found a research study all about an elementary school that implemented blended learning in grades K to 5. And the study found that the students in all but one of the grades made growth in reading when they compared pre and post test assessment scores. And then the study also discussed the benefit of differentiation. So for me, this means that I need to continue to differentiate my lessons for students and really look at the data that I'm getting and use that to inform my instruction. And then it also kind of brought up some questions about whether I should look at iReady data in addition to the running record data that I take, because right now we don't have access to that. And iReady is more of like a blended learning format where students get individualized instruction. The learning goals for this lesson, there's ELA and science goals. Students are looking at text structure in this lesson, and then they're going to be talking about how um, pictures and other kinds of information contribute to how we understand different texts and concepts and stuff, and then also have students look at and give evidence for weathering and erosion. The structure of this lesson is the center rotation, where students will visit a couple different centers during class, and the centers they visit will be based on the pre-assessment that I give students. And like I said, this kind of just goes along with the fact that students don't have to visit all of the centers in a blended learning model. It's kind of like the centers that apply to them and that they need help with. So going into my centers a little bit more, the first three are right here on this slide. I have one center called the interview center where students are going to get to choose from a list of community members that have recorded interviews, and they'll get to watch that interview and then fill out a question, respond to a question on Jamboard about the impact of erosion on the Cape. And then the second center, I called it the photo gallery center. So in this center, students are going to follow a link in Google Classroom and scroll through photos of a Cape Cod Times photo gallery that show the impact of erosion all throughout the Cape. And then in pairs, they're going to discuss and choose 5 photos to write about and take notes about. And then the third center, this is kind of where those ELA skills come in. It'll be a review center with me. I feel like this is a good place where I could push into the classroom since I'm structuring this as a unit that could be co-taught with a reading interventionist and a classroom teacher who teaches science. And in this center, students will meet with a teacher and they'll discuss text features, text organization, and text structure, and we'll practice that by annotating an article that has to do with erosion. And then the fourth center, for those students who may not need that reteach, they'll go on Epic and they'll read or listen to a book from a library with books all about erosion, and then they'll take a quiz at the end. And this kind of supports the research that I found because students are rotating through stations. They don't have to go to all of them. So there's more differentiation. And then I can look at the data, and other teachers can look at that data to group students differently throughout the unit. So this enhances the original lesson because, like I said, with my last one or my last lesson, it increases efficiency because students will watch some direction videos and I'm not repeating myself over and over again. There's a lot of community connections, I think, in this lesson because students will be watching interviews with people who live and work on the Cape, and then they'll be looking at actual photos of erosion all throughout the Cape. So it's pretty close to where the students live. And then there's also more time for reteaching and personalized learning because students will go to the centers and work on skills that they need to work on. And then students also have more choice because they can work in partners for the photo gallery center. They can pick the book that they want to listen to in Epic, and they can kind of choose the photos that they want to elaborate on in that photo center. Some of the visual aids I have in this unit are videos with captions where I explain directions. And then when students are working on that reteaching center, they'll have a bookmark that goes over different marks for text annotations. And then I also have, like I said, the link to the photo gallery, which students will look at. Some of the scaffolds that I have in this center, or this lesson rather, are the review center for the ELA concepts of text features and text organization, note-taking sheets that could have sentence starters on them to help students work their way through the photo gallery center, and then videos with captions. So this is what I have come up with so far for my blended learning exploration, and I look forward to hearing your comments.